Roblox is a platform that hosts many games, just like how Steam as a platform hosts many games itself. The misconception is that Roblox games are games within a game, but that is simply not the case. To be a game within a game would mean a game would have had to already exist prior to other games existing on it, like Fortnite or Minecraft. As long as a game is capable of supporting smaller games within itself, it can be considered a games within a game. However, there is one thing that all these games have in common with Roblox, and that is, as long as the community can make, there will always be a demand to see replicas of existing games made within that engine. Most of the time, it's harmless fun, either wanting to make something familiar to people but with some slight differences, like changes the devs wish they could have made to the original game, or a unique spin on things that changes up the gameplay while still keeping it familiar. Maybe the devs just liked the gameplay or concept of a game and used that as a basis to make their own out of it. It can also just be fun for people to see something familiar to them made in a totally different engine. Of course, there is always the simple and scummy reason of,
we've got to have money.
But I like to think most game remakes are made with love and respect to the original IP, knowing full well their game wouldn't exist without it. So today, I wanted to take a deep dive into these Roblox remake games and find the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's go. Our adventure starts with SCP Anomaly Breach, seeing as I just beat SCP Remastered. The game loads incredibly fast, and just like that, we're in the classic intro. I realize I can actually climb onto the toilet here, and then quickly realize why I shouldn't be able to.
Hey, they've got some work for you. Do me a favor and step out of your cell. Just follow me. Oh, and by the way, we're authorized to exterminate any disobedient test subjects, so...
Now, I'm pretty sure this game has actual echo and reverb to its sound design, and if I'm wrong, then the sound integration is really well done.
Well, we're here. Just get in there and follow all the instructions, and you'll probably be fine.
Attention all Class D personnel. Please enter the containment chamber. There seems to be a problem with the door control system.
Did you really think you could just walk out of here without me noticing? Get back to the chamber now.
Direct eye contact with SCP-173
And just like that, we are seamlessly integrated into the multiplayer. Right off the bat, I find a free medkit, radio, and the keycard, seemingly dropped by this person just standing here. But I'm not complaining, and with that, I feel this will be a good run. My mission, like any early game playthrough, was to get to 914. However, my end goal for this session was to either escape or successfully kill another player. I find some dudes mingling around, with this guard looking like he wishes he could stop us. Foundation members aren't allowed to kill unarmed D-class in light containment, so that players can actually have a fair chance. After going through a 173 room, I found myself at a dead end, a far too common occurrence when running through the Foundation. So I went to head back, and this guard followed me. But then we both got ourselves stuck in the room, and it seemed like someone on the other end was having a laugh. I thought we were cooked in there, but then the doors opened, and someone came in, and I quickly bolted out, giving them a taste of their own medicine by locking them in with the guard. I don't feel bad. After getting decontaminated, I found myself at the 939 elevator. I figured if I hadn't seen 914 by now, it would most likely be on the other side, so I went down. Unfortunately, I don't have a super gas mask yet to speedrun cast the lizards, so I've actually got to take this slow and careful. I think that was a good time to mention that even though I was unsafe, I was trying my best not to die, and a super gas mask is a D-class's best friend for not dying. As I was making my escape, the wizard saw me and proceeded to give chase, but I knew from a few seconds ago that they'd give up once out of sight, so I was good once I got around this corner. What's scary though is that if I had kept running or if the lizard hadn't given up, I would have ran smack into another. Successfully getting past, it was at this moment I started hearing footsteps. Thinking one of them was coming after me for running, I panicked, turned around, and... yeah, I just about damn near had a heart attack. But I guess that's the joys of trying to escape the facility and not being alone. After picking up the hand and knowing the night vision gods were down this hall, I got a little too confident and ran headfirst into danger, which played out like... so much for not dying. And it was here that I took a break for the day and came back the next. I loaded up the save file, and the fact that the game somehow knows where you left off, seemingly on the same seed even though each server's seed is randomized, is witchcraft to me. I remembered what happened to me from the previous day, and figured it likely wouldn't happen again since a constantly live-in server means NPCs don't stay in the same place. But I still took it slow and cautiously, just to be safe. I made it to the other side, and wasted no time checking my surroundings. I was determined to find 914 as soon as possible. After taking a wrong path and cutting it close with a 173 room, I was getting a little worried I wouldn't find much use in this area, but then I found a light testing room. I almost walked past, knowing it only had a keycard I already had, but I decided to mab the MAV just in case. My worries were eased up as I started to see more variation in the rooms, so I pressed on, finding a deactivated Tesla in the process, which meant NTF had to be close, if not going off the barrage of bullets I was viewing through the walls. I wasn't worried though, since just like guards, they can't kill you in light containment. I started hearing footsteps, and before I knew it, I had found it, 914. Players use 914 as a sort of hub in this game. Chaos no D-class will be there, and MTF no Chaos and Armed D-class will be there too. After witnessing a truly tragic death, and feeling like I've interloped on an SCP-specific VR chat lobby, I decided to attempt to upgrade my gear, in the hope someone would screw with me. Thankfully, the game has a system in place so no one can steal your shit when placed in 914. But that doesn't stop people from turning the knob to rough and turning you into minced meat.
Let's try harder next time. That's all I've got to say. Whatever I get involved. Come on! Stop there! Hey, stop there!
Hearing everyone shouting behind me as I tried to mind my own business and upgrade my gear really reminded me of how the world just wants to watch itself burn. Meanwhile, I'm just in my corner vibing. Well, we got everything. Time to hightail the hell out of here. A nice positive about playing with other people is that they've likely already done the heavy lifting for us. So instead of having to go to the control room that would usually spawn 049, we can head straight into heavy containment. Of course, if you don't want the heavy lifting done for you, just blame a free private server. Look at that! Another example of weight being taken off our shoulders. But unfortunately, it looks like it's my turn to contribute to the weightlifting, so we'll have to make our way to 008 if we want to get into entrance. I managed to find 106 in my pursuit to 008, but I didn't have high enough level to get in. Dang, just one more. Hey look, it's 096's containment chamber. If it wasn't already obvious from 457's containment chamber, this game incorporates elements from the God tier mod SCP-CB Ultimate Edition, which I think is just plain cool. Speaking of 096, looks like we found the old boy held up in his usual room. Now you might think the heavy lifting to turn on the necessary requirements to get through his room has already been done, but this room actually resets quite frequently, giving all players a chance to experience the horrors of the Shy Guy. Exiting 096, I ran smack into an MTF with his back turned. I tried sneaking around, but it didn't work. I prayed my super gas mask would save me, and in a panic to get away, it didn't even register to me that I found 008. I just wanted to be safe. Remember what I said about how guards and MTF can't kill you in light? Well, that all changes in heavy. We're out of the safe zone now, which left me feeling like a horror movie protagonist hiding from the killer. It didn't work. I quickly loaded my save, knowing that the guy would surely suspect I'd come back and be waiting for me. I aimed to quickly, yet cautiously get back to 008, but then I realized something. The door the NTF was standing in front of was actually important. There was a level 4 behind it. My heart filled with excitement, but then I noticed something else. A crowbar. And then I got the dastardly idea to Gordon Freeman to shut up and arm myself in the name of self-defense. Hearing the NTF's footsteps outside, I took the opportunity to charge it at the room, straight for the target like I was 096, brutally bludgeoning him to death before I even realized what was going on. The scientist, who had just witnessed me brutally murder one of his saviors, was rightfully cautious of me. Or more like I was cautious of him, since I didn't know if he had a gun. But seeing that he's on Keter mode, gun or not, he'd be wise gone to attack me since I can respawn and he can't. I felt quite satisfied. I knew he wouldn't be coming back since I think NTF can't save. With the threat neutralized, I proceeded back to my objective, returning to 008 and having a surprisingly difficult time closing the lid. I almost gave up and assumed it couldn't be closed due to some multiplayer reason. But finally, the prompt showed up, and I was relieved that I wouldn't have to find an alternative to getting to entrance. I went past that scientist again as I backtracked, heading through 096's room, and somehow I looked at him. I just stared in disbelief and shock, wondering if I should just reset, but I figured it would make for an interesting part of the video, so I continued, using the precious time I had to try to find where an entrance zone checkpoint was. I found 457 again, so I figured I must be close to one, but I couldn't exactly remember where. But then I found it. I tried to get through, hoping I could make it before 096, but I didn't have the right clear ends. So I tried looking for 106 again, and ran into 513. I definitely wasn't meant to go this way, but it didn't matter because my time was up. Loading back, I went back towards where I found the entrance, but 096's room reset right as I was crossing through, trapping me and that scientist in. I reluctantly went to go fix the doors, and almost had a freak accident when 096 spawned right as I went to walk out. As I was leaving, I ran into a guard who I was cautious about, but seeing that he was on Keter, I think he knew to leave me alone. This scientist seemingly wanted to follow me now. I guess seeing how capable I was from before led him to believe I'd be a good tour guide. So I guess him and I are a team now. He could tell I already cared for him since I kept constantly looking back to make sure he was still with me. We found the entrance, and I hoped he could make himself useful by using his scientist clearance to get us in. He could not. Then out of nowhere these two showed up, but it seeing as one was a D class and the other was a janitor, I had no hopes they could get us in either, so we carried on. Scientists seemed to want to follow them, so I followed as well, not minding being in a group. That I instantly lost. But then I saw scientists through the open doors of 106. My heart got rejoiced. Not for the scientists though, but because I knew a level 5 keycard would finally be in my grasp. So I put on my gas mask and made a dash to get to the keycard first, only being 67% confident that one item could be picked up by multiple players. Now being relieved that I got a level 5 and we could finally leave this place, I went to make a dash for the exit, leaving scientists behind by dust. But then I felt bad, and I felt like I couldn't just leave him. So I reluctantly took off my gas mask and walked his pace, officially making the scientist, whose name is Rotten Eyes, but I will call him Rootin, my new best friend. We went through 2 familiar Tesla gates, but then my heart sank at the thought of Rootin being zapped, and I had to look back and check. I didn't realize I should probably be treating him like my grandfather who needed help to use the bathroom, and should be activating the Tesla gates for him so that he's not risking his life. Remember, this man is playing on Keter. We finally get through into entrance, and I try offering him my medkits. Admittedly, silly time to do so, but clearly I won't need them. He refuses my offer, and it's only now dawned on me while editing that the game probably hid my medkits from him since everyone's items are different. But hey, it's the thought that counts. As we continued, I recognized this little office corridor as usually leading to a gate, though it did, just not the gate I was hoping for. I remembered though I should help Rootin get past, but he denies my help. Understandably fair. I'm rooting for you, Rootin. We realized that the way we went was a dead end, so I go to head back. But Rootin doesn't follow. I start to get a bit worried as I stand there staring into the dark doorway. But sooner than later, he came, and once he was through, we continued on. We came across 860, and at first I thought we could get through, but then realized we don't even have the key. So I backed out, and then started to panic since it seemed like Rootin had just suddenly vanished. I looked all around, and then found him in this room. I don't know how he got there, the man is a wizard, but I'm just thankful that the Chaos Agent didn't put him down. I decided to run ahead to check if there was anything good for us, and I panicked from seeing 2 Chaos Agents enter. I thought that they'd surely end poor Root, so I ran back to try to warn him of the oncoming danger. He couldn't really tell what I was worried about, so I ran ahead again to see if the danger was gone. Thankfully, it seemed the agents took the downstairs route, and I knew the exit had to be where they came from, and at long last, here it is. Rootin and I had made it. I gave a nod and crouch of celebration, and he celebrated back, and with that, we were at the surface. But there was still one more obstacle in our way. I looked at Rootin. He noticed it too. He got down low in hopes he wouldn't be seen and shot through the fence. We continued forward, our hearts racing. Could this be it? Could Rootin's luck have finally ran out? There was only one way to know, and that was to face the problem head on, the nerves ever so increasing as we got closer. Rootin stayed low behind me. I stood in front to protect him. We stood still, standing my guard to let the Chaos Agent know I had Rootin's back. I shook my head to let him know not to shoot, and kept crouching both as a sign of peace and to use myself as a shield. And then... that smile on the Skibidi TV said it all. Rootin would be making it out if you're alive. I nodded in excitement, respect to that agent, and Rootin and I eagerly made our way to the escape. I told him after you, and then we both proceeded in. He opened the final door for us, and I shed a tear as I watched him get vaporized into freedom, and I followed, giving breakneck speed tap dancing as my final send-off. And like that, it was over. So, what are my thoughts on Anomaly Breach 2? I think the game is perfect. Absolutely one of the best remakes on Roblox, hands down. From the little touches like the documents actually being visible outside of your inventory, to all the voice lines of the NTF, guards, and See No Evil. The combination of the Ultimate mod and Nine-Tailed Fox mod is just the icing on the cake. This game won't get memory access violations. It won't bug out, and it has multiplayer. This game is an SCP-CV fan's dream. Even if you don't like Roblox but you like SCP, I highly recommend this game. It's just great. I've made a little scoring system. This system judges a game on accuracy, fun, and little touch-ups. For the accuracy scale, it gets a 10. The fun scale, it gets a 10. And the touch-ups, which are changes that differentiate it, I'll give a 9, giving Anomaly Breach a rounding score of 29. So, I think with that being said, we can move on to the next game. Shout out to Rooting. May you always be remembered, my friend. Our next game will be Typical Colors. Now, I know you guys are probably thinking, I'm just doing the obvious picks for this video, but I figured I'd get the well-known ones out of the way. Trust me guys, we'll get into the more obscure ones as the series continues. My goals for this game was to play 5 matches and get enough funds to unlock some stuff. I had no idea who to pick since I don't play this or regular TF2 enough to know who to be, but I'll pick Scout for now. I felt pretty confident I could kill this Scout, but a soldier came out of nowhere and market guarded him. But then this sniper wanted to fight me, so I accepted, and then I abruptly died after winning. Also, I know each class in this game has a name different from Team Fortress, but I'm sticking with the original names to help any TF2 fans watching this get a quick grasp on who's who if it wasn't obvious. I had the bright idea to go over these crates in hopes of flanking Vanity, but a sentry denied me of my flanking rights. I bet this guy felt pretty proud of his contribution to the team. I get the drop on this sniper and secure a sort of decent double kill on this Scout. I then made my retreat, not wanting to be too greedy with kills. If there's one thing I know about TF2, is that you should never ride the high of whatever you just did. It will get you killed. I think I'm doing a pretty decent job here at being supportive, but not playing in over my head. That is, until some cheeky sniper splashes me and gets a pretty hard hit on me. He was on 1 health, pretty painful to see, but remember that he effortlessly meleeed me. That will become important later. I wanted to keep spectating the spy to see if she'd secure the backstab, and she did. Nice. I will say, narrating these types of games is hard because I have to cut out so much typical action due to nothing particularly interesting happening. But I think this is a pretty cleanly played endgame on my part. And like that, we've secured our first win. 4 more matches to go. On to the next one. The next match was King of the Hill, and we got a pretty decent start with a kill on this Scout. I really like this map. It's probably one of my favorites in the game. After securing the control point, I helped delete this spy, deleted the Scout, challenged this soldier, almost lost, tried to escape a pyro, and died. After respawning, I noticed the spy killed my teammate, so I went to go get vengeance. She tried awkwardly climbing through the window in desperate attempt to escape, and I mercilessly shot her in the back. I then surprised this heavy, watched this demo get yeeted by fire, and went to go heal up. I had no idea where the heals were, but this medic thankfully had my back. I seriously owe it to the medics in this playthrough. You will see them come through for me a lot. Now with some overheal, I felt pretty confident in doing some damage, which this soldier quickly said no to. But don't worry, Doc's got my back, only for me to instantly get shredded. Me and the soldier had a little fun together, and then after respawning, I found myself in a position that is definitely not ideal for a scout player. I helped get rid of this pyro, and medics, seeing how capable I was, sent some charge my way, which gave me the confidence to then get rid of this soldier. Seeing that the medic still had my back, and forgetting my rule not to ride the high, I tried taking on this heavy, and failed. I noticed the scout was giving my poor heavy friend some trouble, so I helped him out. He didn't even thank me, the bastard. I then proceeded to continue doing my team a favor by getting rid of this heavy's medic, and making a swift getaway, only to then loot back without getting any heals and paying the price for it. But I like to thank my damage contribution helped my teammate over here.
Does it look like I needed your help?
I don't know why I keep trying to challenge this heavy. But hey, we won, and I even got a free gun for Spy. The next map was Upward, a classic. I went to the store to see if I could buy anything, and I indeed did have enough funds to do so. So the question was, what do I buy? Well, I figured something with Scout would make the most sense since I'd been playing him. After a while of deciding, I ended up with the Force of Nature and Winner. I chose Green Team since usually the payload pushers always eventually make it when I'm on the defense team. However, that wasn't the case this time, and due to team imbalancing, this match would turn out to be a 4-minute brutality that pinned us to spawn. Yeah, most of this game was spent with me just wandering around spawn, pondering what to do. I attempted to go as Spy to get rid of the sentries, and failed miserably. I swear the cloak doesn't last as long in this. And with that, we lost. On match 3, I got into another game of Upward. I hesitantly picked green, rolling the dice as I assumed they couldn't possibly lose again. It seemed like we were actually able to make it out of spawn this time, so that was at least something. I was pretty confident I could delete this medic until I myself got deleted. I thought the medic did that, but then I saw it was a sentry, and my hopes for this match slowly drained. It seemed like that sentry was our only major obstacle, and as long as we stayed out of its view, we could still easily pick off the enemies. I found this kill pretty funny. I tried to kill this demo, and he blew me away, and then I see the Spy struggling to land her ambassador headshots. I saved myself pretty well against this pyro. I killed this pyro who has a rescue ranger, and then run past what I thought was a spy, only to see the real spy appear out of the corner of my eye, but it was too late. Well, the clock is ticking. Looks like it's up to me. I make a mad dash for the car, determined to make these final seconds of overtime count. I'm almost there, and then, oh. I guess Upwards just isn't our map. So, that match didn't go very well. But believe me when I say, the next match was a game changer. Spawning in, things were as usual. I decided to go sniper this time since this map seemed like it had a lot of sight lines. I attempted to jump on this boat after seeing a medic do it, and was surprised that the water didn't instantly kill you. Things in the spawn room were normal. I surveyed the area, attempting to get a feel for the map, but then I started hearing a strange noise. Shooting I didn't recognize. I tried finding the source of it, and then I found it. I could only stare in awe and shock that another sniper before me was wielding a Desert Eagle. This man was part of Pistol Gang, and I couldn't believe my eyes. This was the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. I then got out of my trance and knew immediately what I had to do. Now, I'd love to say I immediately bought it and used it through the entire match, but I didn't even realize I had the funds at the time. So I continued this game, thinking I need to win this match in order to secure the proper funds to purchase my beloved weapon. And that encouragement, that sheer determination, was my driving willpower to make this match count. My undying love and devotion towards Pistol Gang would make this match truly special. So we started, and I'll admit, I'm not a good sniper. I never was. I mean, there's a reason I'm not Sniper Gang, but that didn't stop me from trying. Now, if there's one thing that terrifies me when using a sniper, is the tunnel vision. It makes me feel trapped and vulnerable, like someone could come up from behind at any moment. It lets me know how my stepsister felt when she was trapped in the laundry machine. But despite the tunnel vision, I was careful. I stayed alert of my surroundings, I mostly tried sticking to quick scoping, and I was wary of scouts and their position relative to me. I almost got killed by this scout and had to make a retreat. But here comes this medic ready to patch me up. I told you, the medics had my back, and it was in this match that they really pulled through. I got a little too close to the enemy and had a close call against this pyro, but the medic kept my back. You might wonder, when am I actually gonna get some snipes? Some clean headshots, cause so far, I've done little to nothing. And I did get this snipe, body shot, but it wasn't nothing. But what was weird about this game was that I was good at killing, just not with a sniper. In fact, I was a little too good at killing with anything but the sniper. And remember how I said to take note of that one sniper who one-shot slashed me? Well, it's come full circle. I seriously don't know how I'm doing this, but for some reason, some oddity that I can't explain other than Pistol Gang keeping me alive, I would not die in this match. I could not die. It was as if the bond between me and that Desert Eagle was guiding me and keeping me alive. I just could not die. In fact, even when I did clearly hit snipes, it seemed like the game wouldn't register them, almost as if the Desert Eagle was making sure I didn't go Sniper Gang. Anyways, my team kept pushing in. I slowly followed, making sure to keep my distance. What was especially scary was that I didn't know these maps at all. I didn't know where enemies could flank from or snipe from. I finally got my first headshot kill on this demo through this tight gap, which was pretty clean. I kept being cautious of my surroundings, getting especially worried when a scout started blasting me from the side, forcing me to retreat. I'm glad he didn't pursue though, as I probably would have been ended then and there. My team continued on, and seeing that they were close to marking the area as theirs, I felt a little more comfortable to let my guard down where I was. I got another clean headshot on the demo man, and then we got extra time. I then got scared from seeing another sniper and was worried my streak could be ended then and there. I just couldn't let that happen. As much as I wanted to kill that sniper, if not challenging him at all meant I had a better chance to live, I'd prefer to take that chance. As my team pushed on, getting us more time, I didn't quite feel comfortable moving up, as it seemed like we were still in enemy territory, and they could come for me to put a stop to my no-sniping madness once and for all. But I couldn't find a good sideline on the enemy, so I tried advancing, and my worries were confirmed. A predator scout, spotting a lonely little sniper prey. I tried quick-scoping him, but knew I wasn't hitting that. I started to panic and fled. He had the short stop. It was over. There was just no way. I wasn't going to win this, and thus, my luck had run out.
My future descendant, do not forget what I have taught you.
This was it, the final stretch of the match. I had at this point fully embraced this new challenge of not dying in a single match. I was making sure to keep a safe distance, being extra paranoid of scouts or spies lurking around. It took me a while to get moving from this position due to my team being held back from moving the payload, but after this engineer told me to get moving,
Get moving, guys. Now or never, guys. Let's go.
I felt pressured to push forward and be a little more of use. Once they finally got the cart moving, I felt more comfortable to try and actually do some more sniping, assuming the enemies would come right around this corner to stop them. But that's when I started seeing the enemy's sniper laser, and I got a little worried. I had some confidence I'd win that duel, but I still better not risk it. After botching this shot, I realized the enemies had more places to flank from than I initially thought, so I took a step back and helped be rid of this above pyro. I moved up to get a better sight line, but then quickly realized I almost made a fatal error by standing too close to this red team exit point, so I moved back. I checked this corner to see if reds would be able to flank me from here, and I couldn't really tell if they could or not, so I just moved around anxiously, not really feeling comfortable to scope in. But then I got this clean quick scope, securing my 10th kill and my undying streak. I felt pretty good, but also pretty nervous that I'd lose it right before the match ended, so I retreated some. I flawlessly missed my chances at securing a few extra kills, but then I almost had a heart attack as a scout came out of nowhere and started bludgeoning me. He got some backscatter mini crits on me, and I thought I was for sure done for. But once again, a medic sent by the Pistol Gang gods had blessed me with his presence, and after confirming the scout wasn't trying to eat my ass, I learned my lesson and made a safe retreat, waiting for the match to end. I went back to my little hole-in-the-wall spot and got a satisfying headshot on the scout who tried to end my career. I bet you felt like an idiot. I was just praying for my team to hurry and end the match already, getting more and more nervous something bad would happen. But then they did. A flood of relief and excitement hit me. I had done it. 11 kills kill streak, and I could finally be reunited with my gun. Seriously though, the excitement I felt here is immeasurable. One of the best matches I've ever played. Not realizing I already had the funds really paid off. And with that, it was mine. Look at it. It's so beautiful. It looks just like the one I have. The start to this Badwater match wasn't too special. Missed what could have been a perfect shot, but it's fine, you know, whatever. I still had that try not to die mentality, even though now it didn't matter. The match was pretty small, each team only having a few players, so I felt like we had this one in the bag. I noticed this heavy camping this teleport and wondered why he didn't just destroy it, but then I realized what he was doing. I wanted in on that action. It felt like the game was giving me awards for some cheeky kills, which I found funny. The heavy saw I had this under control and left, but then I guess the engineer wisened up because the teleporter got removed. Fun's over, I guess. I wanted to get up on these rocks for a better sideline, but the game refused to let me up. I almost got up, but slid down. I would not be deterred, however, and eventually I got up there. Being up here allowed me to get an okay body shot in this soldier, then I tried aiming for this pyro, missed, got him, and then promptly died after, marking my first death since I started playing Sniper, which technically meant I had a 16 kills kill streak. I saw this agent attempting to sneak past me, and I swiftly ended her life with a single shot from my Desert Eagle. Then I swiftly ended this scout's life, and then I tried to end this soldier's life, but missed. And then failing to realize I'm riding the high, I went in and... We finally reached the next checkpoint, and here you can see a blatant example of the game stealing my headshots from me. You can even see the stud counter change right before I shoot, from the demo being slightly closer. My laser disappears on his head, and the game is just like, no. Well, at least the game said yes to this pyro. While looking for the enemy sniper, I noticed a demo to my left. He noticed me. We both just stared at each other, knowing if one went to the other, it would surely mean death. But after a demo from my team started to attack him, I figured I could join in to help.
Fellas, not to alarm you, but car's moving backwards.
They ask you how you are, you don't just have to say that you're fine when you're not.
I you not. This shot could have saved my life. Okay, is it just me, or is it always this demo that I kill? Also, it looks like I've experienced my first backstab, one step closer to how sniper mains feel. And finally, we win, thus marking my 5th match with a win ratio of 3-2. Nice.
Work, fella.
So, what do I think of Typical Colors 2? I think it's really fun. I've played Team Fortress before, and this game just feels like a lighter version of that. Definitely meant for people like me who love Team Fortress but find the game too try-hardy. I know TF2 isn't exactly in an ideal state these days, and that's left players feeling unloved. But I can tell with the constant updates this game gets, its community is eating well. This is a very accurate portrayal of TF2 gameplay, but is it good enough for a score of 30? Let's find out. For the accuracy scale, it no doubt gives a 10. For the fun scale, I'll also give it a 10. I enjoyed my time with this game, and I may even come back to it on my own. I even have about 2 or 3 more matches worth of footage because, 1, I lost track of how many games I played, but mainly I just wanted to keep playing. And for the touch-up scale, it gets a 10. From its characters, weapons, and many quality of life improvements, it's able to have that iconic TF2 formula while being different enough to have its own identity, giving Typical Colors 2 a perfect 30. And with that, we move on to our next game. So long, Typical Colors. Our next game will be Hoplite, and we're instantly put into the game. Now, I actually came across this game when on my way to a different Halo-inspired game. I've never seen this one. It actually came out 3 months ago. It's in a very early stage with no extra maps, no game modes, no announcer, and not even a scoreboard. The battle is sparse, and I have trouble finding the people. But then I came across some enemies. One got demolished by my teammate, and the other was awkwardly driving a tank. His teammate tried to assist him, but I quickly put him down. I tried commandeering the tank for myself, and at first I thought I wasn't allowed to hijack it, but then I saw it I could, and I swiftly forced the gentleman to exit his militaristic vehicle. But then I could tell he really wanted his tank back, and I said, "No, you can ride on the side, but I'm driving." I then tested my new toy on his clone. They ripped him to pieces. I knew this would be fun. I tried getting a snipe on this guy who was up on a balcony, but then the same dude tried ramming his stinky little aircraft into my tank. It went about as well as me trying to beat my dad in a fist fight. It was clear, I had become Tank Gang, and I wouldn't be letting go of this beast anytime soon. It's only just now when editing that I've noticed the lad I keep killing is the same guy whose tank I politely borrowed from. Seeing that there was no leaderboard I could reference, I could only assume that must have been him and one other dude versus us all. I accidentally got up close with Mr. Mustard, and he proceeded to effortlessly dodge my shots like he was in the Matrix. He even made me shoot my own teammate. What a god. He didn't try to tell me my borrowing time was up, but I said, no, just give me 5 more minutes. I would love to have Tank Gang in real life, but I don't know where I'd get a tank, and I think breaking into my local military base GTA style to get one is just a little too illegal, even for me. Unfortunately, the fun is over when I get the tank stuck. So I decide to see what actual gameplay is like, so I grab a pistol and set off. I see another tank that looks tempting to grab, but then someone comes up from behind and we engage. The Needler is a pretty popular weapon, so I assumed it must be good. I should have just gone with my pistol from the start, but hey, I get a funny bounce. I really like this game. It has a lot of potential. I'm not gonna rate it because it's not fully finished, but I honestly hope with enough time to cook, it can outbeat the next game, which is the true Halo remake I wanted to take a look at, Delta Ring. And I don't really like this game. It makes me mad. We spot in and... Hey, I don't recognize this game mode. Wait, he one-shotted me? Oh, zombies. Yeah, I forgot this game mode was a thing, and I hate it. I hate the infection game mode in any game because I suck as a zombie and I always die as a survivor.
Survivors win. Round 3.
Oh god, there's more rounds? Yeah, I'm just gonna cut this match out. Getting into the actual game, I gotta fight this guy and instantly get meleeed. Okay, I'm just gonna say, I hate the melee in this game. It feels really obnoxious, like the hitbox is too big. I swear I die more times to melee than actual guns. And I know this is a me problem, but for some reason I always forget it exists in this game. I can never remember to just hit Q when I meet it, which is weird because in Hoplite I did remember to melee. A lot! But here I just can never do it, and I don't know if it feels this broken in actual Halo, but I hate the one-shot melee. I go full-on pistol gang by having 2 pistols, and it was going pretty well. That is, until this bastard placed down a force field? A healing bubble? I don't know, I hate this thing. I did not know it at the time, but that man, Kai, would soon become my mortal enemy. He was the bane of my existence. He may have gotten that kill, but the war had just begun. What the fuck was that melee range? Our next mode was Team Deathmatch, the ultimate mode to prove who was the better killer. And I started by getting an assist on Kai. Let the battle continue. That was embarrassing. You! I went for that melee first, you stupid kid. After running out of ammo in my pistol, I resorted to using the rifle just to kill Kai. I don't like using the rifle though, because I either feel super inaccurate or the game just isn't good at giving you visual information that you're hitting someone. I attempted to get a melee on this guy, and despite clearly hitting him, not only did he not die, but I got sent to space for it. I did manage to get that melee though. Finally, the game wanted to be benevolent. Well, we lost. Me and Kai were the leads on our teams, but this isn't over, Kai. You have just made a sworn enemy for life, and I will find you. After hearing what the next game mode was,
Infection.
I noped out of there faster than when I hear my uncle's bell come off. And with that, I knew it was time to move on. The game gets a 9, a 7, and a 2.
That was a pretty good game. And that Richter guy played pretty well too. Huh.
Kai, the toilet overflowed again.
Now, in terms of lethal remakes, there are a lot. But in terms of the best and most accurate one, it's gonna have to be Dangerous Company. But the way I'm gonna do this is gonna be a little different. I think this game has a chance of being deleted by Zeekers due to its accuracy. So, I'll have another Lethal-inspired game after this one that I think is the second best Lethal remake, and I'm confident that it won't be deleted. So we start on experimentation, and for some reason we begin with a teleporter, and I try to take it in, but it's the wrong teleporter. I then decide to buy a flashlight so we can see the delivery rocket. The frame rate is pretty garbage, unfortunately, but I can work with this. If anything, this game proves to kids that if their PC can run this, then they should go buy Lethal Company since that game can run on my dead grandpa's toaster oven. Oof, that's bright. Wow, this flashlight doesn't do d***. Where are these bell chimes coming from? I found a pretty good haul, so I decided to leave my useless flashlight behind. I only got it so I could see the delivery rocket anyways. And we did it. Let's go to Thou now. Oh god, the frame rate. I have no idea why the footsteps sound like this. I finally get to the entrance, and upon entering, I find a gold mine, instantly negating needing to go any further. Not that there would be anything of interest to see anyways. Okay, that's too much creaking for my liking. Let me just stand comedically still and wait for something bad to happen. As I make my way back, I'm blessed with the sound of music. Finally, something else to hear other than my own obnoxious footsteps. Well, we're at assurance now. It's day 3 and I've got a pretty decent haul back at the ship, so I'm eager to make this last round and then get to the company. I found a whoopee cushion, but when I stepped on it, nothing happened. This game is unplayable garbage.
Hey.
Ha ha ha! Yeah, no. I have no idea if there are monsters in this game, but after hearing that, I noped out of there faster than when I hear my stepsister say she got herself stuck and she needs my help. I'll admit, after hearing that, I was pretty paranoid. I think that was likely meant to be the ghost girl, and I didn't want no little girl sneaking up on me and ending my good run. I was so paranoid, in fact, that I thought I saw a face here. And I had to double check. But I'll soon realize this ghost girl was haunting me beyond what I could have possibly imagined. After realizing I likely wasn't going to get my ship back, I decided to set down my stuff and go back inside to face the problem head on. But before I could, my bad dream became a nightmare. No matter how hard I tried, the warped reality of my fever dream just wouldn't let up. But then, just like that, I woke up. I must have dreamt of collecting everything because all my stuff was gone too. Well, I'm back on the job. No more dreaming. This is for real this time. No more haunting ghost girls. No more thinking about going to therapy. This was all real, and I felt I guess this is it. This is my life now. All the nightmares starting to rush back at once. As I traveled through this empty, barren wasteland, I started to rethink my life, question the meaning of existence. What is life if it's all just one big simulation? If I wake up and then die and then wake up only to die again, rinse and repeat all over again. so I just sat down and pondered up the clouds, looking for any sign of a god to tell me why I exist here in this very moment. I'm sorry if I offended you, Ghost Girl. I'm deeply sorry. I am. I think I'm gonna go see a therapist now. After searching through the 50 dozen other Lethal clones, I finally found one I was satisfied with. There were Lethal games that were closer to the original than this, but they either didn't have enough content, didn't have any monsters, were just downright boring, or have been outright removed by Zeekers. So I think I found one that hits a good middle ground. The last game is likely to be taken down for how accurate it is to Lethal, so I'm playing this one as well as a sort of second best alternative that won't be taken down. But of course, if you think there's a game even better than this, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'll also be doing a community post where you can leave suggestions of any Roblox remake games for me to check out in the future. We'll check out all the moons in order. My goals for this game were simple: meet the quota and find the monster. I think it's also important to note that this game is still in development, and it was updated 2 months ago. This game has its own unique moods, and I just adore the aesthetic of this one. It is gorgeous. I just wish more space games took advantage of the fact that they are set in space, and they have the freedom to make their worlds look as interesting as this one. We get inside and we're greeted with dark, cramped rooms and halls, surrounded by unsettling noises and infested by the fungi from outside. I'm not even gonna lie. The claustrophobic, dark hallways paired with these unidentified noises really had me on edge. There were points where I genuinely froze and felt incredibly anxious, and after picking up sodas that made me feel too slow for my own comfort, I figured it was time to head back. I decided I wasn't quite ready to leave this beautiful place though, and I wanted to see the other entrance, so I went back. On my way, I realized there wasn't any indication of time, so I watched the sun to see if it was moving. I got my answer, and concluded I have a pretty decent amount of time, so I continued. I found this power cell and figured this must be an apparatus. I figured taking it might cause the power to go out, but it could also be for a pretty hefty price. But I wasn't ready for the lights to go out, so I decided to take it last. Surprisingly, nothing happened. Sort of disappointed. It would have been really cool if the only light sources were from the glowing mushrooms. I saw I still had plenty of daylight left and decided to test the water. I guess I'm Jesus. I couldn't figure out how to scan. I don't know what this means. I pressed all and nothing happened, but it's fine. I don't need to scan. Scanning's for losers. I like how the power cell coats the ship in a nice blue light. Well, let's go to Luna now. I wonder what that'll be like. I bet it'll be similar to Earth's moon with lots of pretty stars. Are we in hell? Oh, Oh God. Okay, yeah, this is not what I was expecting. Am not gonna lie, walking through this desolate landscape with nothing but this red haze and windy ambience that really crushes you with the sense of isolation, it was actually quite off-putting. I had no idea if I was even going the right way. I just had to walk and hope, but then I saw a radio tower and figured this must be correct. And sure enough, I was right. I wonder if the interior will be different. Well, there's no fungi, it's a lot brighter and less cramped. I think that counts as different. Not sure why legal clones don't innovate more often by giving each moon a distinct interior. Just like on the last moon, these unsettling growls were here to haunt me as well, and I can't stress this enough. I've never been more uncomfortable playing a video game than I was here. These sounds made me so anxious. I think Lethal could benefit from having more sounds included that specifically aim to let the player know something is there. Having that anxiety build from knowing something is here with you but not knowing what it is or where it is pure terror. But if a specific monster makes a specific sound, people will learn and adapt that sound to be less scary and more as a warning for what's with them. So I think a sound that can be generalized to all monsters would be better, like something metal getting knocked over and clattering to the floor. That allows players to know something is there, but not know what it is. They could even mistake it for a friend dropping something, but not knowing for sure, especially if no one answers back your calls. This will send pure shivers down your spine. Lethal Company improvement tangent aside, I wasn't finding anything, and feeling like those sounds are right on top of me, though still with no source, I just wanted to leave. I had the same feeling as walking through a cramped haunted house and wanting nothing more but to just be at the end already. Those rooms feel exactly like what you'd run through in a bad dream where your legs hardly work. I finally got to the exit, but realized there was a room right next to it that I hadn't explored yet, and when I went in, I started hearing a sound that made me think that I had been spotted by something, and my heart stopped. But it turns out I should have just left when I could, because I noticed something on the floor and it was too late. And there goes all my progress. Well, on to Hellas. I wonder if this one will look like Luna. Again, not what I was expecting. Honestly, kinda normal looking. Okay, so I have no idea if that was from janky fall damage or if the thruster flames actually killed me. Well, guess we're not going to Hellas, but hey, at least we get to see by far the coolest failed quota sequence. So far, I haven't met any of my goals, so this time I wanted no screwing around. I just find the minimum amount of stuff I need, which should be easy since I just need to meet $55, and then after that, we solely focus on finding whatever's been making those growls. Judging from the moon name, I figured this moon would be icy, and I was right. Nice. The entrance was clear, so I made a beeline, got in, and... well, back to Hellas. I walk up to the entrance, and I guess this isn't fully finished? Well, it unsurprisingly doesn't look any different on the inside. And after immediately finding a cash register in the metal sheet, I decided that was it, and it was time to sell. Time to finally see what the company is like. Oh, this is eerie. It's kinda liminal and dreamlike. Never mind, the shadows just hadn't kicked in yet. Getting stuff on the counter was a little awkward, but it worked. I guess I'm free to go then? It does say I made the money. I decided to use my newly gained funds to see what buying something is like. I went back to the Frosty Moon since that's the only one I haven't been thoroughly in and out of yet. But first I needed my delivery.
5 minutes later.
And I don't think my delivery is coming. I don't know where it would be or if it even showed up at all. I decided to go the long way to an entrance since this moon seems to have a lot. I wanted to explore. Getting inside, I was met with frame drops. I wasn't sure why, but it seemed to be only at the entrance, so I was good. Having now successfully sold to the company, it was time to complete my second goal, find that damn monster. I even received a shovel to make me more combat ready for the thing. I didn't care how scary this thing sounded. That was it. I wasn't afraid anymore, and I am going to find this thing. Ooh, look at that. Some ice forming in the base. And I'll admit, I started getting a little paranoid the thing would find me before I found it, but I couldn't let fear hold me back. I needed to find it. The closer I got, the louder the growls became. I was on the edge of my seat. I knew this would finally be it. The confrontation I had been waiting for. And then... Welp, I didn't win. But at least I got confirmation a monster does exist. It was a little bit underwhelming. I expected something more, at least more dog-like, but hey, it's something. I do think the game would benefit though if the monster, actually roamed around instead of waiting for you to come to it like the first version of the Cave Dweller. And that was Deadly Company. If this game gets more updates, it could easily be one of the best lethal games on Roblox. I hope more monsters are added, and I hope the monsters have good pathing. I think focusing more on updating the existing moons and their respective interiors instead of adding more moons would be better too. I'd love to see a variety within the interiors and maybe even moon-specific monsters. But enough ramblings about how the game could be better. Let's score it as it is. For the fun scale, it gets a 6. With the lack of monsters and basically never seeing the monster that does exist, I can see the gameplay getting stale fast. You also can't seem to order anything to increase your fun either. Yet, the immense feeling of anxiety I felt while playing is something I don't even get in the original Lethal. Isn't that what a horror game is meant to do? Make you feel scared? And I hardly ever feel scared. For the accuracy scale, I'll give it a 7. All the gameplay beats are there. At its core, it's still Lethal Company. But the touch-ups would disagree, because for the touch-ups, it gets a 9. Practically nothing from Lethal Company is in this game. The gameplay accuracy is still there, but everything about its design is different. With a score like that, I'm pretty confident Zeekers won't take this down. So, with that being said, let's move on to the 5th and final game. I had trouble picking the final game. I knew I wanted it to be a FNAF game, but there were just so many damn FNAF games on Roblox that don't all follow the actual FNAF gameplay formula. But I wanted to find the true best of the best, and I finally settled with FNAF 1 and 2, both by Kengo Development. Now, Roblox FNAF games, at least the ones that follow the formula, are easy to look at as just FNAF fan games that didn't use Quick Team Fusion or whatever the many Game Jolt FNAF games use. So, you can look at these last two games not only as FNAF 1 and 2 remakes on Roblox, but remakes done in a fan game way, specifically the kind that try to remaster the classic Scott Cawthon games. But anyways, let's get into the games now, starting with FNAF 1. Now, I know what FNAF is. I know it extensively well, and despite that I had plans of playing it on the channel, I've since scrapped those plans due to me realizing that it just won't be interesting for you guys to watch or fun for me to record. I know the ins and outs, so the game would just be tedious from the start, and I won't have much to say on anything, let alone even get startled by the scares. And without surprise, this game has the same issue, and you can tell I was already bored. I was letting the phone play because hearing Scott talk to me helped alleviate the boredom. I wasn't expecting this thunder though, and it made me think something had happened. But that surprise was short-lived, and I got bored again. I got excited though when I finally heard some footsteps and, oh, that actually looks creepy. I've never been able to find the horror others feel towards the main fact of the characters being still animatronics, but for once this actually just looks off-putting. I think it's because I can hardly see his snell, so it almost just looks like the withered Bonnie face but with normal eyes, and it makes my brain perceive him as an uncanny mannequin standing where it shouldn't be. So the game had finally begun now that Bonnie has decided to move. But he didn't end up moving again for the longest time. So long that I sort of just sat back in my chair for a period and relaxed. So long that I got bored again and played with the cameras. And this is why I didn't want to play FNAF. But then, finally, something else happened. Chica moved. This was really shaping out to be a slow night for me, but then the game surprised me. The developers managed to bring back that feeling everyone felt when they first played the game back in 2014. The feeling of panic, anxiety-inducing stress. And they achieved this with a simple heartbeat sound. How a heartbeat always works at achieving this in a horror game, I don't know. I figured nothing was going to happen to me, that the game wouldn't deviate from the gameplay loop, that the heartbeat was just a simple addition of a scare tactic and nothing else changed. But it still made me feel to be more alert of where Bonnie was. Bonnie was growing near, and I was getting more anxious he'd show up at any second. But then I heard something I was quick to recognize. Was I just incredibly lucky for that to happen? Bonnie finally showed, and it was a little underwhelming. He definitely looks creepier, but the sound effect was too quiet to give any sort of a start, and I closed him behind what looks like the type of thing I'd see at a horror attraction. But then, just like that, he was gone, and the heartbeat stopped. So there goes the anxiety and in with the strategy. I now knew heartbeats meant that they were in the hall, and I could then listen for each footstep to know exactly when they got to the door. I didn't do that because I didn't know what strings this game would pull, but it theoretically could be done. Welp, I did it. That was the first FNAF game, and it was fun and all, but suffers the same issues I have with the original. There's just no reason to play it for fun if you know everything about the game. But enough about this one. Let's get into the second one, the best FNAF 2 remake on Roblox, possibly even the best FNAF 2 remake of all time.
This is Ryan. I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from. Anyway, a pity party won't get you through your first night. Henry wanted me to give you a quick rundown on how everything works, so get ready. Alright, I think that's everything for tonight. I'm not gonna call you again, you know, with the boss breathing over my shoulder.
After we finish the tutorial, the game doesn't waste any time getting into the action. I never feel like I'm sitting bored waiting for something to happen.
KSI's new song?
Do you want me to die?
Nah, not until you hear it. It's not that bad, really.
Everything from the clear anxiety our character is feeling to the head and arm movement, it all feels so realistic. It feels like what I've always wanted a FNAF game to be, a non-VR game where the deadly robots are uncomfortably up close and personal, causing you to truly feel what it would be like to be in this position through the screen.
Hey, wanna hear
No, I still don't want to hear the song.
You will hear it eventually.
Toy Bonnie was pretty hostile, but with all this talk about shitty music, it didn't take long for Chica to make an appearance too, looking as if I just caught her sneaking out at 3 AM to go to a Justin Bieber concert. I didn't want her going to that concert though, so I just tricked her into staying home. Hey Chica, I have free JB tickets.
Free tickets? Give me!
Did you finish your chores?
Oh, come on! That's stupid! Why wait to finish chores?
I knew Bonnie was about to come back, and I knew he wasn't going to take no for an answer this time, so I left the mask on, realizing there isn't really a penalty for doing so since there's no music box. Well, that is until night 2, but we'll get there soon.
Figured dropping you a few more messages during your first week wouldn't hurt, especially considering...
On night 2, I noticed this boombox I could interact with. I had no idea if it was meant to be a stand-in for the music box or if it was just to play a little Easter egg, but I wanted to wait until Phone Bro was done talking to play it in case I interrupted him.
Despite whatever reassurance Willie might try to give you, those things get aggressive after hours. Alright, good night.
Well, that was awful.
Yo, did you like me song?
No.
be a size new album eventually.
I had no idea if what I was doing was correct, so I flipped the breaker a few times just to make sure.
Can you believe that?
That, and he still owes me Justin Bieber.
What are you two doing?
Nothing, bye.
Can I... Can I have those tickets? I finished my chores.
I don't have time for this.
You listen now, I'm incredibly offended. You're right!
Yeah, I don't either.
I'll be giving you one more chance to apologize!
Ugh, your music is shit.
So ye be thinking me music is shite. Now this is for hurting me and me mates' feelings. Ha 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 ha! Have fun down in Davy Jones' locker, lad.
And that was both Five Nights at Freddy's. I try not to cover more than one game in a single section unless there's a good reason, but since FNAF 1 and 2 are separate games, yet both still being FNAF, it felt fair to give them both a spot. I'll give FNAF 1 a 2 on the fun scale. The original FNAF these days is loved for the mysterious story and atmosphere. Its gameplay was a relic of its time, but now that FNAF has been talked about to death, nothing about the original game is surprising, and the Roblox version carries that same problem. For the accuracy scale, it gets a 10. It manages to be exactly like FNAF, and even just a little bit creepier. And for the touch-ups, it gets a 2. Other than the doors, lights, and heartbeat, nothing else has really changed as far as I can tell. Again, low-scoring touch-ups aren't really a bad thing, it only matters if you like a Roblox remake more for looking less like the original. And as for FNAF 2, I'll give it a 9 on the fun scale. I really enjoyed my time with this game, and it just makes me wish there were more FNAF games with 3D environments and animated animatronics that use their movements to unsettle you, not lack thereof. And no, the joy of creation and its clones don't count. And as cool as the VR games are, I don't even want those. I'm talking about a true remake of the original Pentology that lets you feel truly trapped by seeing the animatronics in motion. If you haven't seen the original FNAF 1 remake, FNAF in Real Time, I highly recommend checking it out. We need more FNAF games that tackle FNAF in this way. For the accuracy scale, it gets a 5. It's still being FNAF 2 without being exactly FNAF 2, but that's a good thing. I think the game struck a good balance of feeling original with its source material. And for the touch-ups, it gets an 8. All the improvements in the game need no words spoken for them. It's just a chef's kiss. I even saw a trailer for the game in which the Wizards don't even get fooled by the mask anymore, and that's such a big change, but a welcome one at that. FNAF 1 gets a 14 all-around score, and FNAF 2 gets an all-around score of 22. Oh, and FNAF 2 didn't get a 10 on the fun scale because when looking through the devs group to see if they had any other FNAF gems, someone had said there's a glitch that makes Foxy go invisible or something, and I think that's what got me killed. So, hope they patch that. And with that, the video comes to a close. It has been, honestly, such a journey to make this video, and I haven't even scratched the surface of all the Roblox remakes. I even kept finding more as I was looking for ones I wanted to put in the video. I'm gonna feel very relieved, but also a bit sad that this video's finally done. I'm gonna miss it, but there can always be more episodes in the future. As I said in my community post, I may condense war games into future episodes, but spend less time covering each one. Would you guys want that? Let me know. And of course, there will be a community post once this video is up where you can submit remake games for me to check out in the future episodes. But anyways, I've put all my creative efforts into this video. Now I can sit back and relax, go back to my roots of making shorter content. Thank you so much for watching, if you're still here. It means a lot to me that you appreciate my work. I'll see you all again at some point in the future. Have a good one, everybody.